Greetings fanboys and fangirls, Jared here with another video review from Fanboys Forever. And today I'm bringing you a brand new review from the newest wave of Mattel's Masterverse toy line. And we are looking at new Eternia, Evil Lyn. This figure has been highly anticipated ever since it was teased on the Bone Throne packaging. And it's something that we've all, I think, been really curious about and kind of wondering what they would do with it. Well, she's finally arrived, and in this review we'll find out together not only how successful this figure is in holding up the new Eternia legacy, but also in comparison to the many other faces of Evil Lyn that we've seen in the scale over the years. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take a special look at the brand new Masterverse, new Eternia Evil Lyn. But before we begin, as always, if you haven't yet, I would really appreciate the subscribe and even a like on the video if you do end up enjoying the content today. Also be sure to comment down below. Let me know if you've already picked up this figure or if it's something you plan on getting. Let me know down below. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Evil Lyn, one of the absolute most iconic villain-esque characters in all of toy line history. As the evil yellow-tinted witch, as Skeletor's right-hand woman, she's become an absolute staple in Masters of the Universe toy lines. There has hardly been a Masters of the Universe toy line that has not included some representation of Evil Lyn, being so essential that she was even included in the 1987 live-action film and is going to definitely be, and has already been cast in, the upcoming live-action film, and by an actress I absolutely adore. But we're here today to discuss more specifically this brand new figural representation. The new Eternia line is a great way for Mattel to kind of refresh original concepts from that toy line, putting their own spin on a few things while pretty much bringing us a fairly classic version of whatever character they're trying to do. Evil Lyn here is no different, as she does that very thing. It's kind of a update with a few modern aesthetic touches of the original Evil Lyn figure. Let's have a look at how the sculpt turned out. We'll start out with Evil Lyn's face sculpt here, and I really think they've done a great job of capturing that look for Evil Lyn. It is both mysterious, it's kind of magical, I guess, in a way. The makeup application is really good around the eyes. I think that they've done a really good job of getting kind of this printing going that gives more of a subtle look to the eyeshadow, so it's more of a fade in. So I think that's really cool. I love what they did with the kind of crest up here, and I love the little skull and things. Funny enough, one of the eyes of the skulls, they had missed the black paint, so I just went in with a Gundam marker and just filled that in. So just a little full disclosure there. I do love, though, that they got the little silver bits on the very top. That's very impressive. And turning around, you can see that they didn't bother to get them on the back, but who can blame them? And of course, the lip application is really good as well. I like that they framed the helmet with kind of a metallic-y blue, and that's kind of a visual motif that runs throughout the entire figure, this metallic blue color that works really well. I think that we have seen some criticism throughout the line. Didn't quite have some of the same bulkier proportions that we had seen on the old original toys, but I think this one absolutely does. And you can see that she does have the appropriate kind of size going. So I think proportionally this one does work better than a lot of the other female figures that we have seen in the line. I like that the arms are still fairly bulky. I really enjoy that. There is some concerns about the arms, but we'll get there. We'll talk about that. And I love her bracelet kind of pieces right here. They're very detailed. They probably needed a little bit more paint on them to stand out, but they look quite nice. All of Evil Lyn's hands, as well as her alternate hands, has really good paint applications for the fingernails. So she has done up her nails with a little bit of purple paint, so I think that's cool. And I love how all of the chest details are actually painted in with that nice metallic blue. And she has that really cool fur collar kind of thing going around all the way. Down here we can see that the kind of shorts she's wearing are adorned with those skulls as well, which I think are really nice. And I love the extra added little swirls and things and the bolts that have been painted. And you can see that the shorts just continue all the way around. Same for the back. They didn't bother with quite as much paint detail here, but it all works together pretty nicely. And you can see that instead of pink on the back of her shorts, it says made in China. So you can see the legs are quite bulky and pretty true to those original female figures from that first line all those years ago. And I love that they even took the opportunity to paint kind of the bandages and wrappings on the boots. So I think overall, visually, it's a real feast, and it really sticks with what they've set out to do with the color scheme, which is to have that blue all the way through. Not only that, but the one accessory she comes with also manages to do the same. It is mostly one plastic color down here with the light kind of baby blue, but they then add kind of a metallic effect as it goes in, and the claws around kind of a semi-transparent crystal ball. What's interesting about this is it does split apart. So if you want her to have that smaller kind of wand like she does in some stuff, you can just have her hold this. But I like for her to have the entire kind of sorceress looking staff. So it does connect in there. It maybe I just need to heat it up or something, but you can see there's still a little bit of gappage there. So I think that's a little funny. You could fix it pretty easy by shaving down the peg slightly, but I don't think it should be like that. I think it should have connected pretty seamlessly right there and shouldn't have left that gap, but that's an overall small complaint. The great thing about a lot of the Masterverse figures is you can customize their looks, and so there's going to be people that prefer Evil Lyn without the cape to make her more in line with that original look. And it's very easy to get that because all you have to do is pull, and they have a great gimmick where there's just this one plastic piece that's embedded and kind of sewn into the fabric here, and you're just able to take it and plug it up under the fur. But without it, it looks really good as well. So it's totally up to you. I like for Evil Lyn to have a cape, but to me, this is just as valid a look. In terms of alternative hands, she does come with a few. You can see that she has open hands for both sides. She has grasping hands for both sides as well. And she has two fisted hands for both sides. I do feel like she's pretty light on accessories. Unfortunately, you would think that they would have included some kind of spell effect or something right here to put on these open hands, but they just don't do it. Of course, you know, I have plenty from different figures that we've gotten in the line over the years, but it still doesn't mean that someone else this wouldn't be their first figure in the line, and they would need some kind of effect. So I do think that is a missed opportunity. But if you did want to see what that might look like, we can take the kind of snake spell effect right here and put it right over, and you can see that it works really well and looks really nice. So it's a shame she didn't come with something unique. So let's talk about articulation, because this is where just maybe a couple of aggravations come in with this figure, and some that I don't quite understand. With the head, everything is great. You can get that full amount of range right here and side to side, all of that, and you can tilt it. With the diaphragm, it has some absolutely great articulation that's kind of covered because you have the gap right here, and there's no real way to even see where it comes from as long as you have the figure posed correctly. So you can do all sorts of great movement with that. You can get a great angle downwards, and you can arch way back. Not only that, but she does have a just swivel at the waist, so that takes care of that. Now here you can get the arms above a T-pose, which is really nice at the shoulders, and of course it can go all the way around without anything really inhibiting it. But here's where the big aggravation comes in out. I'm not really sure why Mattel doesn't have double joints here at these elbows. I get it that she has bare elbows, so they don't want it to look too mechanical or weird, but it's awfully strange to me because almost every single other female figure in this line has double elbows, so I don't really get it. I was kind of aggravated in a similar way with movie Evil Lyn right here, but you can see that her range was designed to work better, coming in at more of a right angle, whereas this Evil Lyn over here, it can't quite do that. I can kind of force it and make it a little bit better, but it's still not quite getting there. So I think that the elbows are a step back for a lot of the female figures in this line, and that's a real shame. You can swivel at that elbow as well. There are hinges on all of the hands depending on what kind you get, and you can see it's pretty effective. You can also go all the way around with the wrist. With the legs, you do get those great drop down hips, and drop down they do, and that allows you to get those excellent kicks. Not only that, but you can get the splits completely flat if you wish. There is a swivel at the upper hip. There is a double jointed knee at least, and there's a swivel at the boot. There is a hinge at the ankle, and there's side to side ankle pivot. And with very minimal effort, and even without the aid of a stand of any kind, you can see that Evelyn can get into those wide stances and she can flat foot them with ease. So one thing that I like to do in a lot of my reviews that I hope helps them to stand out is I like to do plenty of good comparisons, especially because, you know, I've been in this game for quite a while, and I definitely became more serious about Masters with the Classics line from several years ago. So I always hope that I can give you some pretty cool comparisons. We'll start with my go-to Evelyn figure that I've had in the scale for many years, and that is the 2000X style paint job re-release of the original Evelyn in Masters of the Universe Classics. I'll be completely honest, since I am one of those people that kind of missed experiencing the original Masters of the Universe toy line by a few years, I don't have as much of an attachment to Evelyn having the yellow skin from the original line. And as a result, I never did get yellow-skinned Evelyn from Classics. I decided that I'm much more connected with the 2000X version, and so I always just had that version around. You can see, though, that just like in that cartoon, Evelyn had kind of a gray tone of skin, which I like that as well. But you can see here that they've also dropped the yellow tone of skin and have gone for much more of just a regular flesh tone. Still, they look neat together, but I would hardly say that they're both trying to accomplish the same thing. They're pretty unique in their own way. And here's the Evelyn figure from the Club Filmation line that Mattel was doing before Super 7 ever got the license. And, you know, these couldn't be any more different. It is kind of sad, though, to be reminded that at one point Mattel did do a Filmation-style Evelyn that didn't have the yellow skin. As we know, they kind of went overboard with their recent cartoon collection figure about making the skin yellow, making it kind of a weird mishmash of the original toy and the Filmation design. Production wasn't very good on this figure, and the paint was extremely sloppy, but from a distance it still looks really good. In my opinion, the most appropriate comparison that we'll be doing is with the original Masterverse Series 1 Evelyn from Masters of the Universe Revelation. To me, these do feel like they're going for something very similar. Obviously, this one over here is based on the animation from the first half of Masters of the Universe Revelation, but still the designs are pretty similar. They're both going for that blue motif, and although this Evelyn is a little more covered up, they still, I feel, are kind of in that same ballpark for what they were trying to do. This should be a good indication to you, though, of just how far that this line has come. Indeed, especially looking at something like the crest up here at the little headdress versus this one, you can see just how much more detail is being packed in, especially in terms of paint application. I still really think that she's a cool figure, especially as a representation of that animation, but to me it's very obvious that this one takes the cake. And that's saying something, because this one was by far the best figure from that initial wave, and I think that was agreed upon across the board, and she's still a good one. And just for fun, we have movie Evelyn from the '87 film. And these are just fun to see side by side. They're not at all trying to be the same thing. And as a small bonus, I will show you that that first Evelyn from Masterverse did have this alternate unmasked head. Let's see how it looks on this body. So it's really cool that this works pretty well, honestly. The flesh tones are definitely close enough, I think, to pass, and usually I'm pretty picky about that kind of thing. I also think stylistically it just kind of passes pretty well too. So this is definitely something you can try and would definitely be great for photography. I do kind of think it's a shame that we never got an Evelyn with the short white hair, and I think that would look really cool. So Evelyn here is actually a pretty tall figure, and you can definitely tell when you put her beside the Netflix animation Evelyn figures just how big she is. So I do appreciate that, and I do think Evelyn should be pretty tall. And on the subject of height, let's see just how Evelyn stacks up with a few select figures. Here's 40th anniversary He-Man. He's definitely a very tall figure. He's just kind of a little bit taller than Evelyn. So these guys stack up really well to each other. I definitely foresee Mattel reusing a lot of elements of this Evelyn to create a vintage collection Evelyn pretty soon, probably having the yellow skin. Speaking of vintage collection, we know that they're going to be doing a version of old 40th anniversary Skeletor from the San Diego Comic-Con box set, so let's definitely check out what that's going to be like. And no surprises here, just like with He-Man, they're pretty much the same height, with Skeletor being just a tad taller. So this Evelyn is definitely meant to be a tall figure, and I like it. She definitely should not be, super small. She should be imposing. Of course, she is smaller than, say, like giant He-Man'd up Evil Lyn from the end of Masters of the Universe Revelation. So just keep that in mind. Just for fun, here she is alongside the Sorceress of Grayskull version in the Bat Sorceress outfit for Evil Lyn from Revelation. Here she is alongside the new Eternia type of Skeletor. We'll use the one that we got most recently that came with the Bone Throne. Once again, it's a great height difference between them. They're pretty much just about the same size, and I think they look pretty good together. And if for some reason you wanted to use this with your Masters of the Universe Revelation Skeletor, Skeletor is a little bit smaller than her. So it's not that much, but it's there. Here's the new Eternia Battle Armor Skeletor, who is quite a beefy guy. He sizes up well with her, being quite a bit taller. And my favorite He-Man and yours, we do have the Masters of the Universe Revolution He-Man. And you can see that He-Man does a good job scaling with her, being slightly taller. And I hate to be the one to break it to you, but we've been using the Bone Throne all wrong. Turns out it was meant for Evil Lyn the whole time. This is pretty cool that she can kind of set on it. Of course, I'm kind of got her posed up to where she's going to set a little differently than Skeletor. Skeletor is not happy, though. He's just shocked. He doesn't really know what to do. He's certainly not going to say anything, though, because he's afraid of Evil Lyn. But hey, they've done a great job with this figure in a visual sense. I think that they've executed it marvelously. I was really impressed in hand with this. I thought it looked good when I saw early promotional photos, but like a lot of Masterverse figures, she turns out a lot better in production than she does in the prototype. I feel like that things like the head and things are a lot more proportional in hand, so I was really happy about that. The one thing I'm not so impressed by are those elbow joints. Can't quite get to 90 degrees, and to me that's really pretty much all I'm looking for as long as these figures can get there. And it's a shame that they've dropped the double jointed elbows. As recently as Snake Tila, we were getting double jointed elbows for female figures in the line, so I don't really understand what this new kind of direction is for female figures. I don't know if they're just looking to save a few tooling dollars or if they were really that bothered all of a sudden by the appearance of those double joints for bare elbows. It certainly hadn't bothered me up to this point, and I hope that they will consider adding those back before any kind of vintage collection release of this Evil Lyn sculpt, but I certainly doubt it, and I bet this is what we have to work with. Other than that, and a general lack of accessories, because I do think she really needed some kind of effect or something to put on one of her open hands, I do think that she is well worth the money. Just at about $23 or so, this is certainly one that you don't want to pass up just from the artistry of it alone. I think that they do a great job of upholding that level of quality that we've seen in some of the best new Eternia figures, like Too Bad and Trapjaw. So this is certainly one to watch and one that you don't want to miss. If you're wondering where I got mine, it was from Entertainment Earth. Of course, this is not any kind of sponsored review. I've never been sent anything for a review. So yeah, this was bought with my own money. I'm not sure if they were offering her individually. I just had to buy the case to get her. All right, friends, well, that will certainly do it for me. Let me know down below what you think of her, and tell me what you think about the great debate about Evil Lyn's skin tone. Should she almost always be yellow, or should she be this more natural tone like we see here, or heck, should she be gray like she was pretty much in the 2000X cartoon and toy line? I kind of like it when Evil Lyn just looks like this, where she has a natural skin color. I do think it's kind of neat when they add in a little bit of yellow, like a little bit of a tint to it, but they didn't do that here. Sometimes I feel like Mattel is almost afraid of that, but then every now and then they do it anyway, like with the Filmation figure for some strange reason. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Anyhow though, friends, as always, God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.